pound fighter, heavyweight ever, because he's won all those belts at different times. You know, for him to decide and say I'm leaving the game, it's hard, bro.
It really was class and fair play to him. And if he hangs his gloves up now and retires, he will retire as maybe one of the best fighters. Maybe one of,
in my view, that he wants to say, look, I'm not interested in that stuff going on over there. Of course he'll comment on it, but it's his way of saying it doesn't matter to me, I'm the number one anyway.
Derek Chisora doesn't hold back when discussing Oleksandr Usyk's future. In his view, Usyk should retire now, at the very top, as the undisputed champion. Chisora believes the Ukrainian superstar has already done it all, conquered cruiserweight, dominated heavyweight, and built an untouchable legacy.
Win a world title again. Listen, can he stay in the ring with Parker? Can he beat Parker? No. Can he beat Bacoli? We don't know.
From Chisora's perspective, there's nothing left for Usyk to prove. But the truth is far different. Usyk isn't built to fade quietly into the shadows. He's still sharp, still dangerous, and still hungry for more. If anyone's career is teetering on the edge, it's Joseph Parker.
Usyk as someone who's going to go on for another 5 years fighting every challenger in the division. Like, he was the undisputed cruiserweight world champion. He's the unified world heavyweight.
Parker's, not Usyk's. Eddie Hearn agrees, echoing Chisora's sentiment, but with an even sharper observation. Usyk isn't the type of fighter who drags his career out past its prime. He's already cemented his place in history. A two-division world champion who has rewritten the narrative.
To us all in the cruiserweight division, me included. He's a phenomenon. He's a unicorn. He's one-off. You won't see the likes of him again. I don't think you'll see a better boxer. That is the pure art of boxing. Hit and do not get hit. He's a
narrative of modern boxing. The real question isn't whether Usyk can keep fighting. It's whether he wants to keep humbling challengers like Parker. Tony Bellew, speaking from bitter personal experience, knows exactly what it feels like to be systematically dismantled by Usyk. Bellew calls him a unicorn, a phenomenon the sport rarely sees. In Bellew's eyes, there's no one like him. Past,
I believe he's retired. I don't believe he's done. I do believe he's probably one of the few fights that's bigger than the
present, and he's right. Usyk doesn't just win fights. He redefines what heavyweight boxing looks like. His unique blend of footwork, ring IQ, and adaptability makes him a once-in-a-generation talent. Johnny Nelson takes that idea even further, arguing
time to retire when your physicalities change. Your punch resistance isn't as good. Maybe you're a bit slower. Maybe your desire's not there. We not see Jermaine Franklin hit Joshua flush a few times. If he would have wobbled, I understand all of a sudden, whoa, but it wasn't that kind of performance. It was a very solid.
That Usyk has transcended the sport. According to Nelson, Usyk stands above belts, rankings, and retirement debates. He's bigger than the belts, Nelson says bluntly. Usyk's name alone carries more weight than any sanctioning body's approval. Retirement? Forget it. Nelson insists Usyk has already proved beyond doubt that he's the top dog, and deep down, everyone knows he isn't finished yet. Hearn lays out what he calls a checklist for when a fighter should step away, when speed dips, resistance fades, and hunger disappears. But none of those boxes apply to Usyk. His speed remains razor sharp, his conditioning unmatched, and his hunger for greatness completely intact. If anyone looks like they're slowing down, it's Parker, not the master technician from...
I just think technically, physically now, he's at the weight and he's adapted and he's adjusted. I mean, he's even adjusted and adapted his weight for this fight individually. I mean, he put on how much weight and slowed his actual feet down because that...
Ukraine. Bellew doubles down on his praise, explaining why nobody is likely to beat Usyk anytime soon. His brilliance isn't just in raw skill, it's in his ability to adapt mid-fight. Bellew points to Usyk's bout with Daniel Dubois, where Usyk deliberately slowed his own footwork to mirror Dubois's rhythm and expose his weaknesses. It wasn't just fighting, it was chess at the highest level. Every opponent faces a different version of Usyk, a tailor-made style designed to systematically break them down. Parker may have power and grit, but he doesn't possess Usyk's fight intelligence or his ability to control every variable inside the ring. Bellew's words prove an essential truth: Usyk isn't a heavyweight by accident. He's a heavyweight by choice. A man who has mastered the division by making adjustments.
The decision he's made, and we've had, what he's given to British boxing has been amazing.
No one else even dares to attempt. If Parker believes brute strength will be enough, Usyk's ring craft will expose him, brutally. Frank Warren also joins the conversation, offering Usyk his full respect. Warren argues that Usyk has already given more than enough to boxing. Just beating Anthony Joshua twice and doing so on British soil secures him a permanent place among the sport's all-time greats. Those victories weren't just about winning titles, they were about rewriting heavyweight history in real time. Warren notes that if Usyk retired today, his legacy would be untouchable. But here's the nightmare for Parker: Usyk hasn't slowed down. His footwork remains razor sharp, his stamina unmatched, and his hunger to dominate completely undiminished.
Again, it's a tough fight. That Usyk guy is talented. He's so talented. He's so small for a heavyweight too. He's non-stop movement and his footwork and everything. It's so different than anybody else. Joshua didn't know what to do with him. He's like, where is this guy going to be when I'm throwing punches? He's a heavyweight, and the heavyweights were never really that good. Dubois is coming into his own, man. That's what that is. He's only like 27, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's coming into his own. That guy's scary.
Diminished. Warren warns that Usyk doesn't fight because he has to. He fights because he wants to. And a fighter driven purely by will is almost impossible to stop. Joe Rogan cuts straight to the heart of the matter. Usyk is a puzzle no heavyweight has solved. His constant movement, slick angles, and relentless rhythm turn even the most dangerous punchers into frustrated amateurs. Anthony Joshua himself looked utterly lost against Usyk, swinging at shadows, never able to predict where the Ukrainian would be next. That's the nightmare Parker is about to face. A storm of unpredictability, precision, and relentless pressure unlike anything he's ever experienced. Usyk doesn't wait to...
Which means money fights. What we have to look at the moment, and what he is definitely looking at with his new team, with Sergei Lapin, who heads that process with him, and Egis Klimas, his manager, is what works for him commercially.
To be hit. He dictates the fight. Parker may thrive in straightforward exchanges, but against Usyk there are no straight lines. Every step, every feint, every angle is part of a calculated plan to force mistakes. Rogan's words strike a chilling truth: Usyk isn't just talented, he's a ghost in the ring. And when you can't touch your opponent, your power means nothing. Gareth A. Davies reminds us of a fundamental truth: boxing isn't just about belts and glory, it's also about money. With Sergei Lapin and Egis Klimas carefully guiding Oleksandr Usyk's career, commercial decisions are now playing a major role at this stage of his journey. But here's what separates Usyk from so many others. Even when money is involved, he never cuts corners. Every camp, every fight, every moment of preparation is treated as though it's the most important of his career. Whether it was Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, or now Joseph
Parker. Much?
Not think much, but I think about this sometimes.
How many fights do you think you'd say you have left?
10.
10 fights, wow. Wow. 10 fights. Okay.
No. It's not true. It's not true. I cannot say now because
Parker. Usyk trains with unrelenting intensity and focus. Parker may hope that Usyk has started to slow down or that his mind is elsewhere, but he'll quickly realize the truth: Usyk remains sharp, hungry, and calculating. When legacy and money align, Usyk doesn't just fight, he dominates. When Usyk himself speaks, his words carry undeniable weight. He's been clear and direct about where he's at mentally and physically. He feels great, both in body and mind, and he knows he still has more fights left in him. Usyk isn't promising a long career filled with endless wars. Instead, he's being refreshingly honest, acknowledging that his time is finite while warning the world that his fire still burns bright. 2 more fights could mean 2 career-defining moments. Imagine Parker as the first challenge, followed by the biggest showdown of them all, Tyson Fury. If Parker believes he's catching Usyk at the very end of his run, he's dead wrong.
Best heavyweight there is currently, and I don't see anybody beating him.
Is he as good as Muhammad Ali? It's not a crazy thing to say, I don't think, at this point.
The thing is, you can't really do the comparisons, do you know what I mean? But I do think he's one of the best currently now to do it.
Who do you want to see Usyk fight next, or just sail off?
He can sail off into the sunset, and he's done everything. Do you know what I mean? He's phenomenal fighter, man. You're watching him, I'm just watching him, I'm going, oh my God. Like, that's God-given.
Relaxed Usyk is the most dangerous Usyk, the calm before the storm. At this stage, he isn't chasing legacy anymore. He's defending it, and that makes him even scarier. Conor Benn doesn't mince words either. He calls Usyk the best heavyweight alive today, even daring to mention his name alongside Muhammad Ali. That's no small comparison. When fighters start linking someone to Ali, it signals just how special they truly are. Ali was celebrated for his dazzling movement, blistering speed, and ability to outthink bigger, stronger men. And that's exactly what Usyk is doing in this era. Parker is solid, skilled, and tough, but Ben's words cut through all the hype. Usyk is operating on an entirely different level. Even in a stacked division featuring names like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and Parker himself, Usyk stands alone. The fact that he's even being mentioned alongside Ali tells you everything about his greatness.
Retirement, I'm not sure if it's genuine. Maybe it is, but I don't know what he's going to do now he's retired. But the fact of the matter is, he's announced his retirement. He's either trying to leverage for more money and putting himself in position, so he's got people begging for him to come out, or he's actually genuinely going to retire.
Not everyone, however, is fully convinced. Karl Froch raises a skeptical point. Is Usyk really considering retirement, or is all this talk just a negotiation tactic? In boxing, retirement chatter is often a bargaining chip used to secure bigger paydays. Froch suggests that this might be exactly what's happening here. But if you look closely at Usyk's recent performances, it doesn't feel like the actions of a man ready to walk away. Fighters who are on the verge of retirement show cracks. They slow down, they hesitate, they start to look vulnerable. Usyk has shown none of that. In fact, he seems sharper than ever. So yes, Froch might be right that the retirement narrative is partly about business, but it's also about legacy. Usyk has earned the right to call his own shots, to dictate the terms of his career. If Parker believes that talk of retirement makes Usyk vulnerable, he's gravely mistaken. A motivated Usyk, especially one with business and legacy on his mind, is an even greater threat. Froch's doubts only add intrigue, but the reality is crystal clear. Usyk controls this story, not Parker, not the media, and certainly not whispers about him being done with the sport. And that brings us to the heart of it all. Oleksandr Usyk now stands on the edge of history. He's already been the undisputed cruiserweight champion. He's already conquered the heavyweight division, defeating giants and unifying belts. Now he stares down Joseph Parker in what could be one of the last great chapters of his legendary career. The stakes couldn't be higher. If Usyk wins, he further cements himself as the pound-for-pound king, a generational talent who conquered not just weight classes, but also the minds of his opponents. But if Parker somehow pulls off the upset, everything changes. Usyk's legacy takes a hit, and Parker writes his name in golden ink as the man who toppled a modern great. This isn't just another fight. It's a clash of mental strength, willpower, and composure under the brightest lights. Usyk brings calm dominance. Parker brings raw desperation. One man has nothing left to prove. The other has everything. So the question remains, will you back Usyk to dominate yet again, or do you believe Parker has the grit to shock the world?